There's a little secret that I have, that my friends and coworkers have, and if you're being honest with yourself, you've had once or twice too. But it's cool. Let's talk about it. A couple of years ago, I graduated from college with my degree. Now, it took me way longer than I usually would, mainly because I had to work day jobs most of the time. I had to work all through school. But eventually, I did walk across that stage. It was a culmination of a lot of years and a lot of work. During those years, I did have like jobs or whatever, like I said. And now all those jobs are okay. I mean, they were fine, but they weren't exactly a career. But when I did graduate, that gave me an opportunity to apply for different and better jobs. And one of those jobs that I applied for, I actually got. I am a sales enablement coordinator, which I explain like basically a hub of information for the sales process. Now, during the interview process, I interviewed 6 different times with directors, vice presidents, and eventually the president of the entire division. At the end of the hiring process, I got the job, and in the beginning, I remember thinking, what the hell have I gotten myself into? Like, what am I doing here? I have no idea what I'm doing. I had a little secret. I didn't feel like I belonged. What I didn't know is that I had an imposter complex. I felt like I wasn't good enough. For some reason, they're gonna figure out that they made a mistake any day now. Like, don't these motherfuckers know that I have no idea what I'm doing? Like, they're gonna catch on to that eventually. I mean, yeah, shoot. I applied for the job, but they actually gave it to me. Like, any day now, they're gonna figure out that I have no idea what I'm doing. They're gonna realize their mistake. On the inside, I was freaking out. I asked my girlfriend, who has a pretty good job with a lot of responsibilities, and she was like, yeah, I feel like that sometimes too, that I don't really belong in my seat. So then I asked my friends and my coworkers, and they all said the same thing. We all had the same little fear, the same anxiety, the same imposter complex that we're not good enough. But the good news is, of course you're good enough. Of course you're smart enough. You know, your boss, your manager, your clients, if you own your own business, they picked you for a very good reason. You're qualified, or at least smart enough to pick up the pieces along the way. You know, I've been in my job for about 1.5 years now, and it really amazes me the growth from the beginning where I was then to where I am now. Part of my job is training and explaining processes. And I'll get off some of these calls and I'll just think, you know, wow, where the hell did that information come from? How did I know all that stuff? So you really have to just give yourself time. And I'm just 1.5 years in. I think a part of the problem with the imposter complex is that it's rooted from us wanting to stay in our little safe place, to stay in our little comfort zone. And that's literally the worst place you can be, especially since you're trying to get more out of life, which I'm assuming because you're watching my videos. No, you want to grow. Think of it this way. You can definitely find flowers growing out of the concrete, but you'll never find them growing out of freshly paved roads. Why? There's no cracks. It's hard to grow where there is no gap. If you've been in your job for 20 plus years, you've got the processes down, you've mastered it, of course you're not going to feel like an imposter. You're going to be like, well, hell yeah, this is what I do. There's a Google stat that I read that said that 30% of the workforce changes jobs or changes careers about once every 12 months. And I know for me that's true, I mean, especially as of late. I think people changing jobs more and more is going to have the imposter complex grow and grow in our society. Mainly because we just aren't going to know what the hell we're doing. We're not going to have that mastery of the skills that previous generations had because we're not staying in the jobs longer, like 25, 30, 40 years like past generations. You know, the rat race mentality that a lot of the Western cultures have is really based on comparing or competing with your neighbor. You know, that's not the reason I started this channel, is to have you compete with your neighbor to see how much stuff you can own. No, there's always going to be somebody with a bigger house, a nicer car. There's nothing you can do about that. No matter how much you get, there's always going to be somebody with a little bit more. There's nothing you can do about that. What you can do, though, is control your mental state from yesterday, today, and tomorrow. You have control over how much you study, how much you learn your job, how many notes you take. You can control that part. Start to learn enough about your job and there'll be no way that you can be an imposter because you know your shit. But until then, grow in the cracks. Take the humble attitude that, you know what, I want to be better than I was yesterday. And before you know it, you'll have one less secret. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Do me a favor, though. I'm trying to grow this channel, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also, poke around and see some of the other videos I have on here. There's some really good stuff. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, guys, let's go kill it.